Thank you very much for your generous introduction, Brother Ross. And I'm happy that a lot are interested in this topic. As Brother Sosa said, this is one of the series of talks that we started since June, practically with Father Anton as Pascual as our speaker, then followed by other speakers until the month of October, where we had a weekly presentation geared towards letting people know about business and other concerns. To all the friends who are here now, to all of us who are together, I would like to thank you for taking your time to be with us. And please be informed that although this is an activity of the Cooperatives Program and the CFC Cooperatives Federation, this is not about cooperatives. This is about what everybody should do, and that is planning. And so, my request for screen sharing so I can do the presentation. JS? JS?
Yes, Tito.
Okay, am I now on board?
Yes po, ayun na.
Yes,
Share
bro.
So I'll do my slide sharing and let's begin from the beginning. So for those who are here, good afternoon once more to all of you.
Good afternoon, brother.
And we are going to present you a topic brought to you by the CFC Cooperatives Program, the logo that you see at the left, and at the right, the CFC Cooperatives Federation. And the title of this is Strategy, Action, and Development Planning. As you can see, this is very colorful because there are a lot of things that we have to take a look at in this subject. And Christmas is fast approaching, so we have to be colorful also, right? And today is November 11th, and this is our event for the month of November. So let me first begin by letting you know the objectives of this activity. That is our presentation this afternoon. For all to understand more and appreciate the process of planning as a major activity of an institution or a program. That means not of any particular organization, but those who are going into planning. And how the planning process and its elements and components are related to the vision and mission. Again, these are technical terms in planning, but we'll be talking about that in a more understandable language. And we are also going to apply the planning knowledge when we go into long-range planning, because planning is not just for next year. It might be for a number of years. And again, so that those who would go into planning will support the plan. That is, when you turn around and use this, whatever learning you have, in your own planning activities. So with that, my dear friends, my brothers and sisters, my guests, and everyone else, we would like to know what is a plan. So when we talk about what a plan is, it is an organized and systematic scheme or set of actions. So take note of the word actions. So therefore, a plan is not just something that you read. You have to act on it so that you can address a need or concern or even attain a specific objective or goal. So the end product of a plan is the achievement of the objective and goal. And these two are very important in the planning process. Of course, we use available resources within a strategic framework, another technical term, strategic framework. So let's go ahead and find out what is this planning. Because Plan is a noun, planning is now the action or the activity. So it is a systematic process. Systematic, it is organized, it follows certain steps in identifying an objective, a goal, or a need, or concern, or even a requirement, and working out the best ways or series of activities so that these objectives can be reached. Again, in a strategic planning framework in order to identify priorities and determine operational principles. Big words and challenging at that because it would say we have to do a lot of work here. But planning is an activity, so it's really work, but a very important component in running a business, a program, institution, an organization. With that being said, then let's take about look at what strategic planning framework is. It is an outline of planning elements and activities required to craft a plan. So practically, it's just telling us what to do. It is an outline, but it should contain everything that we need so that we can proceed with the activity. So this is visual in nature, so that means we can see it this afternoon. Okay, so we go to the initial planning process. What do we do initially so that we can go to planning? There are three basic questions, and these are very important questions. The first question, where are we now? Of course, philosophy would say, I'm here, you're there, and all that. But what we mean to say is, what have we accomplished or done so far? What have we made out of our activities from the beginning of the year until this very time? So that is what this question answers. Where are we now? And then we are also asking ourselves, if we are in this situation now, where else can we go? How else can we expand? How else can we grow? How else can we reach other places? So where are we going? Putting it in the context of business, program, institution, organization, what we want to accomplish in the future. What do we want to achieve from here to that time that we are about? And the last question, how do we do it? By what means? How do we get there? In planning, we answer these because planning without getting into the last answer is not planning at all. Okay, so let's begin with the first question. Where are we now? I call this the pre-main planning stage because we are just going to assess what happened. So with internal data and the present level of performance and achievement in the various phases of operation, we try to see, and these are recorded, granting that everything is recorded in our organization. But I think so, especially if you're in business, you have the financial statements, you have your own evaluation system, so you know very well where you are right now. But that is just the beginning, the internal data. What else do? We try to compare that with the budgets, the goals, and even the plans that we had. How close or how far away from what we've set as our achievement. So therefore, this month is November. How far are we from what we set for the entire year of 2022? So that is now comparing the actual accomplishment with our targets. And having that, then we try to find out what made us accomplish, enabling, and what made us fail to accomplish, disabling factors. In other words, those that made us accomplish, we should continue. Those that did not make us accomplish, we should try to find out very well how we can accomplish by letting them be lessened or eradicated. Let me proceed. Apart from that, let's take a look at our own situation right now. And we have what we call as the SWOT analysis. Another term that is quite very mysterious in the new participants and planning. SWOT. What's that? Now, practically, these are what we call as our internal strengths and weaknesses, internal situation. What are we strong in? And where are we weak? And that is internal to us. Nobody can tell us from the outside because it's inside us. If we had a program like a program to feed children, then what are our strengths and what are our weaknesses? But when we talk about the other part of the SWOT, this is the SW, the OT now will be our external factors, opportunities. What else are there open to us to be explored by us so we can proceed to achieve our targets? And threats, what can hamper us or prevent us from doing our work so we achieve our targets or objectives? So this is SWOT analysis. Do we need this in planning? My friends, if we are to plan, we have to know what our capacity is. And the SWOT analysis can tell us very well what are those that we have to know. Okay, so in the illustration, it's like this. If we take a look at the vertical columns, that we have helpful and harmful. Helpful are our strengths and opportunities. Harmful are our weaknesses and threats. And what else do we see? Okay, at the horizontal column, you see now the internal origin and the external origin. If we have this and we have taken a look at this, then we know very well what is our present situation. Okay? What else can we do? Can we take a look now outside our institution? If our operation is nationwide, let me give an example, Couples for Christ. We are operating in the 78 or 79 provinces in the Philippines, right? Our presence is there. So we have to take a look at the macro level or the bigger picture. And we do what we call as environmental scanning. We take a look at the environment around us, not just our own environment where we are, because they may affect this environment might affect on our operation. So now let's have the pestle analysis. Take a note of the word pestle. Okay. Now it is the macro environment of the institution that operates, and it is wide ranging and the big picture factors that could influence our future strategies. So let's go to it now. PESTEL stands for political factors. What is the state of the government, local or national? Is it stable? That's one thing. Next is economic factors. What's the present exchange rate? What is the unemployment rate right now? What about the prices of commodities around us? And what about the supply? All of these are economic, and we might be affected by that. As social factors, how many of us are beyond 60, and how large are they in the entire population? And what about the young people? And what are they right now in terms of their cultural and educational needs? And what about their behavior? Are they migrating to the cities or they're remaining where they are right now? So these are social factors because this involves society. That is PES. Now T. We don't end in T, right? Because it's PES. So we are PES 10. So technological factors. May I ask you, how many years before a new model of your favorite smartphone is replaced? How often? How many years will it take? They say every 6 months there's a new model that is about communication. What about the other technological factors that we have to take a look at? What are those that are improving as well as being discovered and as well as being developed that may affect society and everyone else, including us here? These are things that we have to take a look at. And we don't stop here, right? Because the word is not good. But environmental factors have to take a look at them. Why? Because the environment is doing a lot of things to us now. We just had buying, right? And everybody in the Philippines was affected by it because it had a very big diameter and the radius is quite big. And, 158 people died because of that. That's only one typhoon. What about the other calamities and the other situations that we have to take a look at with regards to weather and disturbances? And take a look now at the legal factors. What laws have been passed that might be against what we are doing or favorable? So these are all what we call as environmental scanning. So when we plan, we take a look also at this, not just our own limited space, but the space where we work, and this is our environment. And we have to do the political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal factors. Okay, scanning. Let me proceed now. So now we're going to the two, question number 2 and 3. Where are we going? And how do we get there? So when we ask this, then we carefully formulate our plans. So now I call this as the main planning process. The first one is evaluation. Next time is planning. So what is this? There are certain elements here. And the elements may be strange to us or familiar to us, but these are the elements that we have to take a look at. Okay, vision and mission statements. One say, the only vision I know is 2020 vision and television, but not the vision statement. What is that? Mission. I know there are missionaries around us. So I know that their mission is to convert me to the religion. So that is the mission to me. What about those who are looking for, say, uh, assassins or some terrorists? They are also in mission of looking for them and catching them. But now we are an organization. We are in a program. We are in an institution. Are we also to have vision and mission statements? Okay, we'll talk about that later. Then business operations direction. Take away the word business and you are with operation direction. Wherever, whatever we're doing in business or in some social work like NGOs, we have operation directions. Okay. Then what comes next? Strategies. Strategies, these are things that we have to take a look at and consider so we can proceed with our attending to our next item. And these are the major concerns. Major concerns. Why? As we operate our business or run our institution, we have major concerns. If you're in business, what is your concern? Okay, You're concerned about your store, perhaps, about your people, about your customers. If you're manufacturing, about your production, about your supplier, all of these. But if you are, say, for example, in an NGO, what is your concern? Your concern perhaps is how many people can join us? So these are members. And what are those that we have to do so that we can have more members? And what else? How can we finance our operation? What else? What programs can we adapt so that we can do what our NGO is doing? So these are all major concerns in whatever situation we are in. Either we're in business or in an NGO work, or it is simply a program, and we are to do it. I hope we have some participants here from the Philippine Institute of Certified Public Accountants, because I talked to one and he said we should also know how to do it. Now, it's because I'm also a CPA, so I have invited them. But anyway, these are the common terms that we encounter as we do the planning. So when you are asked, what is your KRA? What's that? Is that something mysterious? Is that something that is so difficult to understand? What is KPI? Key Performance Indicators. And then CPAs. These are not certified public accountants, but critical performance areas. In other words, they are simply major concerns. What are we busy about? This is it. So if you have the strategy, then because of that strategy, we should be busy about this thing. And these are the key result areas, key performance indicators, critical performance areas, and they are given some mysterious names. And then they become now sophisticated, and lecturers and planning will give them and tell you as if they are very something hard to explain, but they're simply major concerns. What are we to look into? So don't be overwhelmed by these three things here, because they are merely major concerns. What else? Now, in one planning, they're calling it goals. In another planning, they're calling it objectives. In another planning, they're calling it targets. But they are all the same. One person, the GOT. But some planning facilitators call them by different names, but they're only the target, objective, and the goals. So far, what have we done here? We've taken a look at the vision and mission, the operation directions, strategies, major concerns, and then the goals. That is not the entire planning. But some planners end at that, because the complete planning will have to have action plan. If you have the goal, you have to have an action. Why do you have a goal? Because we have a concern on a critical result area. Why do you have a concern of a critical result area? Because it is embraced by a strategy. Why is it embraced by strategy? Because we have an operation direction. And why are you busy about that? Because we have a mission to do and a vision to achieve. So all of these are all leading to the vision and mission. Okay, just take down your notes and ask your questions later. Okay, so let's begin with the vision and mission statements. So these are planning activity components. Okay, and these are embraced by the organization as primary basis for the formulation of the strategies, and they help identify goals and targets so that the specific actions can be crafted. Take a look at what I did earlier by starting from the bottom going up, but this one is what dictates the bottom. So let's begin with what is a vision. Again, another person said, I've got a 2020 vision, 2018 vision. It is sight. But vision is nothing but a dream, what you look in the future. So as stated here in yellow, highest desire for the institution in the future. What is our highest desire? Okay. So it will answer the question, what will the organization become? So what do we want it to be? And the clear destiny or quantifiable condition in the future as it paints the picture of the time to come. In other words, this is a dream. This is not yet achieved now. So we have to aspire for this. But we have to state it. We have to make a statement of what that vision is. Okay? Here's an example of a vision. The leading and most preferred fast food company in the country. I'm not referring to any brand, but this is their vision. That means if this is their vision, they are not yet the leading. They are not yet the most preferred because they have not achieved the vision. Once the vision is achieved, it is a reality already. And you have to aspire for another vision. This food company is telling us that they would want to become the leading and most preferred fast food company in the country. Is the vision correct? To me, it is because it tells me that they are not yet leading and they are not the most preferred. If there are 10, perhaps they are number 10 or they are number 5, but they are not number 1, definitely. Okay? Now, may I just have a word of caution on this vision? Because let me tell you a story. There is this woman who approached me, a lady, and said, "Sir, can you help me? How can I help you? You know, we are funded by a Dutch company. It is actually an NGO because we are in a feeding program in one town and we are concentrated in San Dionisio and San Francisco. So what about it? We are having feeding program for the children. And so what is your mission? Our mission is to give the best food and nutrition to the children of San Dionisio and San Francisco. Oh, okay. Now, what is the problem? Because this NGO funder would like us to have a vision statement. And what did you say? I said, 2 barangays with healthy and sick-free children. Oh, so your vision is about the children. Perhaps the funding company would like to have your vision for your program, not for the children. Because if your vision is for the children, that is also the vision of the Department of Health. And I think that is also the vision of the World Health Organization to see running healthy and sick-free children, right? But what about your program? What is the vision of your program? Oh, I see, she said. So we helped it out and we came out with a responsive and proactive feeding program that assists blah, 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 blah. So it is about the program, not about the beneficiary of the program. So I stated it here. The future dream for the beneficiary of the organization or institution is not the vision. The vision is about the organization or institution or program. For those who are here who may have a different vision of your own program or institution, take a look on how you define your vision. Okay, now let's take a look at the mission. So directed towards the attainment of the common vision. Therefore, this is our concern. This is our job. In other words, this is the purpose or reason why we exist. Okay? This is our marching order. We have to do this. And that is our marching order. Now, for Couples for Christ, we have here, right? What is our vision? Families in the Holy Spirit renewing the face of the earth. or is the earth renewed? Not yet. That's why it's still a vision. What is our mission? It's a very long statement, right? In fact, 3 paragraphs or 4. But we shorten it to building the church of the poor and building the church of the home, building the church of the home, and building the church of the poor. So these are the mission statement. And the mission statement is related to our vision. So if that is the case, then let me show you the same mission of the example I've given for the vision. So it says to provide the most efficient service and quality products to customers in need of fast, ready-to-eat food. So therefore, when we have this kind of a statement, then they know their marching order: provide the most efficient service and quality products to customers. It's no other but do it. So by so doing, they are reaching their vision, or they are working towards their vision. So there is such a thing as a connectivity. We cannot dissociate one from the other. They should be related. So in crafting our vision and mission statements, we have to have good statement of all these things. Okay. So how well they are connected? Again, let's go back to my example. The vision is the leading and most preferred fast food company in the country. The mission to provide the most efficient service and quality products to customers in need for fast, ready-to-eat food. Therefore, as you do the mission, you are led to your vision. And as you are having the vision, you work it through your mission. So this is the connectivity. Are we connected when we have our organization, our cooperative, and all that? Let's revisit so that we'll find out. Okay? So for other questions, again, hold it and we will take it up in the next. Okay, now here, operation direction, commands, operational commands given by top management. And then you may ask, you mean to say we already have the mission, we already have the vision, and we still have command? Because some companies are owned by a family, and the family says, I like a branch in every province. That is the command. So what do? Will you go against it? For as long as the command doesn't go against the vision and mission, then these are inputs to our planning. Why? Because these commands have to be supported by appropriate policies. They can command, but there is a policy because there's a policy making body, no less than the board of directors of board of, okay. Uh, so these are all part of it, no? Board of trustees. So now we have to take a look at this. Now, in our community, we have maximize evangelization is one. Strengthen household is one. Okay. And then we try also to support and embrace the AMPO and social development program and actualize it. And then the last one is for succession. These are commands. And these are part of our building the church of the home, building the church of the poor, leading to families and the Holy Spirit, renewing the face of the earth. So, my dear brothers and sisters, my dear guests from other institutions, we have to take a look at this, whether there are these things. If not, then let's not talk about it. But here comes now the strategies. You have the mission, the vision, the direction. What is your strategy? And what is a strategy, by the way? So, a strategy is an approach, overall approach, the broader context of the vision and mission, including and incorporating in that context the internal strengths and weaknesses in the issues or concerns or even major concerns that are to be addressed. You put them all together in a strategy. My friend says, be careful with the strategy because if the strategy is not good, it will become a tragedy. Okay, so that's just a joke. Huh? We don't do strategy, we do strategy. It defines the framework within which the institution or organization operates. So let us have the other meaning. It clarifies what are to be achieved and the approaches, again, approaches. It does not spell out specific activities because this is handled by action plan that I will take up later. We are talking about now strategy, the first item in the title of the talk. Okay, it is a roadmap, which is the path chosen to plow towards the end vision of the institution. So, how many strategies? You can have one or several for as long as you are going to your vision. It is the operating position. So, therefore, it is a positioning thing. It's not just a statement. Let me tell you about, well, anyway, everybody knows Toyota, right? This is a leading Japanese car manufacturer. Their strategy is not active selling, it is simple, spare parts availability. That is their main strategy. They did not say, go to Europe, go to Asia, and sell this, no, that, make a loud information campaign. They just said, spare parts availability. And everybody bought that car because later on, the spare parts will have to be bought. The branded or the other brands who had other kinds of names and capitalizing on prestige, on class, did not last long because they have a good car, good name, but no spare parts. But Toyota had it. Okay, that's just sharing what is strategy. But let me give some examples. Okay, broad, computerized digital operation. It's broad. Strategic alliances and linkages. Big words. Staff capacity building and development. You might have an idea, but what that is it. Okay, why are these broad? Because inside it are already our main concerns. If you're talking computerized digital operation, what are your main concerns there? What are your major things that you have to take a look into? If you talk about staff capacity building and development, what are those things that you have to take a look into? So these are what we call as major concerns, but we are talking about strategies. Let me go to specific. A branch in every highly populated area. This can be a trading, a bank, or any other business that must have a branch. Okay. Then massive and extensive marketing and information campaign in Metro Manila. So this the place is very specific. Therefore, this is specific strategy compared to the upper one that are broad. Okay. Now let me tell you, where do you base your strategies? Again, it can be from vision and vision statements, operation direction. Okay, what else? We can base it on our SWOT analysis as well as our analysis of the enabling and disabling factors. This is what we did when we answered the question, where are we now? Because we know on this, we can make strategies out of this. What else? We can get it from pastel analysis, right? And we can have it from major concerns. I'll discuss this later. Okay. And from the balance scorecard. Okay. Friends Hope and Norton of America developed this balance scorecard. What is this? This is a strategic planning and management tool or system. It is widely used in so many industries, government, business all over the world, including nonprofit organizations like most of us. Or for those in business, this is of course widely used. It's used to formulate the strategies that should align with the mission, vision, and direction. Again, and what else? This is to improve internal and external communication and monitor organizational performance against goals, and to clarify the vision and the strategies and translate it into action. So, how is it? What is covered by this? So, there are four perspectives or ways of looking at it. Number one is about customer and client perspectives. If you're in business, take a look from the point of view of customer so that you can make your own strategies. Next, about financial perspective. Because if you're in business, financial resource is a very important element in running a business. Now, from that point of view, what strategy can you adopt? And what else? Internal operations and processes. Take note that number one is about a relationship outside. Finance is about money, but internal operation is about how we do things. So this includes governance, this includes HR, this includes systems and procedures, and everything else. Okay. And the last one is about what are we still to learn? What haven't what is the thing that we haven't learned yet? And how are we going to grow? From that perspective, then you make also your strategies. In one of the planning session I had as a facilitator, then the planning group asked me, are we limited to this? I said, no, for as long as you have another perspective that will contribute to the attainment of your target, then why not? Sir, can we include disaster response, resiliency, and risk management? Of course, especially now that we are in this kind of weather situation and environment, then you can add that as part of your perspective. And what strategies would you like to develop from that perspective? So, my dear friends, these are the basic components of the balanced scorecard. And we had several items where we can base our strategies. Okay, now let's go to major concerns. The various areas in business that must be given full attention since they must generate desired results for the attainment of vision out of strategies formulated. So, these are known as, again, the key result areas, key performance indicators, critical performance areas. So, what do we mean by this? Now, when you are talking about KRA, because usually they use the acronym or the initials KRA, then just tell them this is the area in our operation where results should come out. Okay, what are these areas? And you say sales. That's too big. What particular area in sales would you like to have results? Because when we talk about sales, we talk about products, we talk about sales process, we talk about promotion, we talk about distribution, we talk about volume, we talk about so many things. But what is the key result area that you want to deal with as you have your strategy? And it also refers to what area should there be performance to be indicated, and that is now the key performance area. If you talk about sales, the area where performance should be indicated, we talk also about customers, customer relation, volume of sales, kinds of products, area covered, promotion. All of these are part of that, but which of that will be part of your major concern? So now I think this is being made clear Then critical performance area, the same banana. So ABC, 1, 2, 3 under D are all related to each other. There's nothing mysterious about this. They're only telling us if your strategy is massive and active recruitment, then what are we going to take a look at? If I were the one, I had to take a look at our information drive campaign. Is it effective? I will take a look at our information material. I will take a look at the person doing the information. And you are addressing that particular strategy, massive effective information. And the three that I cited are your key results areas. Now, my friends, is there anything mysterious about this? If we're going through our business, then these are what we meet every day. Only that we don't call them key results area. We told them, how much is your sale now? What is the volume of it? But it is a key result area as far as planning is concerned. Okay, now let's take a look at example. And this example is now in a matrix form. Take a look at this, please. And take a look carefully. Now, according to them, to one, okay, they took a look at governance. And so what about governance? And they agreed on a strategy. And the statement says effective, responsive, and results-oriented management. Very good. Very good statement about governance. But they don't say my key result area is governance. No. That only led them to crafting the strategy. And then if you have that kind of a strategy, what will you look into? Now, internal operating policies, systems and procedures, communication processes, and there are a lot more that can be looked into as you have this strategy. Okay, let's go to finance. Their strategy is financial viability and fund sufficiency. Big words, right? But what do they have to look into? According to one, income and expenses, as we told, whether we have a good performance. What about cash flow and funds management? According to one, what about investments? So these are what we call as your major concern. What is our sophisticated name? KRA, KPI, and CPA. When we are confronted with that, we are overwhelmed. But they are just major concerns because we have a strategy. Now here, there's a strategy on sales and promotion, and it says effective and sustained sales, promotion, customer development, and customer retention. So this is a very active trading company. Now, what are they concerned with? Their major concern that that we call a sophisticated name, KRA, it's customer profile and relationship, marketing materials and techniques, products and services, either in kind or in quality, the price, place, and customer needs, and sales areas and sales volume. We cannot put them under one, so we have to specify what are these concerns. But these concerns should be enveloped by a strategy. Okay? So how far have we gone? From vision and mission, including operation direction. Then we go to strategies.
Hindi ko na itatagal yun dahil alam ko naman nung kagaguhan, wala na kami doon, biglang mayroon.
Wait, what's that? And then after that, we've got the major concerns. Okay. Then let's go now to the goals, objectives, and targets. This is the GOT, right? Now, I'll read it slowly. They are the qualified or quantified qualified, described, quantified in numbers, and the specified number, amount, or volume of physical items, actions, or desired situations that must be attained under each KRA, KPI, or CPA, or under its major concern. What is the volume? What is the number? What is the goal, objective, and target to support this strategy? So they are interconnected. And now we have to see that they are given action plans. Okay, let's show that also. So example is this. Take note of what we have done. Strategy, effective, responsive, and results-oriented management. And then they identified three basic KRA, internal operating policies, systems and procedures, communication processes. Of course, they are good to read, but what about them? There should be targets. So let's read internal operating policy. The target is departmental manuals prepared by end of June. Is there a quantity? None, but there is a date and there is a description prepared. So therefore, that is a goal. That is an objective. Now, when we come to systems and procedures, there is a number, 25 updated systems and procedures. That means perhaps for the past 10 years, they were not updated. So they identified 25. And that is because of the KRA. That is where they are concerned. Why? Because they have a strategy. And the strategy is effective, responsive, and result-oriented management. Okay. When they go now to communication processes, take a note of 100% digital process. 100% therefore everything. No exception. And then, because they are after response time, 0 days action backlog. It doesn't say 2 days, 3 days. Their goal is nobody should be delayed in doing their thing. Now. So 0 days action backlog. So now, as you can see, we've got a strategy, we've got respective concerns, we call KPI, PRA, and CPAs, but we are concerned with goals, objectives, and targets. And that is because we have to do the action planning. Okay, we have reached this far in our discussion about how to do planning. This is ideal. But you say, oh, in our company, we don't go to that. We just take a look at the concern, then give the goal, and everything else is done. Is that right? I'll answer you later. Okay, now let's take a look at the action plan. These are now specific activities, step by step, so we can address its goal. Okay, so how is that? The action has to be written in a range of tasks. If a task takes 1 to 10 steps, every number should be given a description. Number 1, number 2. Okay, then as you specify the action, you put the person who will do that. And then when will he do that? And what will tell us that the work is done? That is now the indicator. And as he does his work, what are those that he needs so that the work can be done? And that is a complete action plan. Okay, let me illustrate. So why do we have to do this? Because we have to give expression to the specific goals, objectives, or targets that we must attain. So let me have the illustration. It says here, The strategy is active marketing and public relations, and the action plan is done in this manner. Okay, the first column talks about the major concerns, and enclosed in parentheses are the three sisters, KRA, KPI, CPA, and then the goals. So when you have your KPA, KRA, KPI, and CPA, you must have a goal. In this case, this is a bank, so they say deposit generation and clients development. That is their major concern under the strategy, active marketing, and public relations. Now, one goal is 100 new accounts per month. How many days are there in a month? So there are 30 days, but they are operating 5 days a week. So in effect, there are only 20 days. If you divide 100 by 20, at least 4 accounts should be opened daily because their target is 100 new accounts. How do you do that? Now, because they are not known in the place, they start with something like prepare a blanket house-to-house info campaign in Barangay ABC. Who will do that? Mr. John Doe will do that. So that is a campaign program. And when will he do it? November 1 to 15. What will tell us that he did it? A prepared plan and a team formed and task defined. And what does he need? He needs ideas and concepts. Now, is that the only job we will do? Letter B now. Prepare information materials, give away items, and marketing script. Who will do that? The same person. When will he do it? November 16 to 30. And what will tell us that everything is done? All info marketing items prepared, and there is a fund allocation of 30,000. Of course, there's a budget given to that. And then the next action is meeting now with barangay officials, who will meet the team plus the leader, presumably John Doe. When will they do it? December 1 to 3. And then what will indicate that the meeting is done? Meetings held for campaign, and they want to campaign in Barangay A on December 5, in Barangay B, December 7, Barangay C, December 9. And what do they need? One vehicle, good for 4 persons without the driver. Yet, of course, there is a driver, but 4 passengers perhaps. Okay. And then what else? The team meeting and training. Because they cannot just do it without that. Oh, so when are they going to do that? On December 4th. And the training is done. And the info campaign starts in Barangay A on December 5. And so on. What did we read? It is now an action plan. Why do we have an action plan? Because we have a target, we have a goal, we have an objective. Why do we have an objective? Because we have a major concern to be addressed. Why do we have a major concern to be addressed? Because we have a strategy adopted. And why do we have a strategy? Because we have a direction of operating the business. And why do we have a direction? We have a mission. And why do we have a mission? Because we want to reach a vision. So now, this is how we plan. Is there something mysterious about it? This is just a system on how to do it. But there are a lot of people who do it in different languages, different processes, so people become confused. So I put GOT together as goals, objects, and targets. They are the same. I put KRA, KPI, and CPA together. They are major concerns. So everything is simple to be understood. Okay, my friends, hold on to your questions. Now, let me take a look. Let us take a look at the, the picture. The planning element that we talk of our vision up to targets, right? And if we are talking about inputs, there are 70% already of the inputs in the plan. So without us going through that, then we are not reaching this much. But when we talk about the tasks to be done, it's only 30% of the entire planning thing. But the value of what we put in is very important. It's 70%. Now, action plans, that's only 30% of the input. But the trabajo or the work is here now. So it's 70%. Who will do that? The planning body? No. The planning body may go only up to the first half from vision to targets. But the action plan can be done by the respective departments when the targets are commonly accepted and approved. Again, I had to repeat that. The planning may end only up to targets. Very big number of people planning because the action plans are done at the respective departments. And the general plan is the addition of vision, mission, direction, strategies, major concerns, goals, objectives, targets, plus action plan. I'm showing here the demand of the plan in terms of our involvement. So if you're invited to a planning and you are a responsible official, attend because the planning inputs of those people doing the vision up to the target is 70%. The action planning is only 30%, and this is localized. But when we talk about now the tasks to be done, now the weight of our task is just 30, but the value is 70 when we talk about vision up to targets. But when we talk about action plans, the task is 70%. So everybody's involved in planning. It's not just the head. Everyone who is involved in the organization, in the business, in the institution, in the program, should be part of the planning. Of course, it takes layers, right? The first layer are those that will set the targets. And the next layer are those who will do the work. Okay? Now, they say that a plan is smart. And you know, the meaning of the acronym SMART. Okay? So let me put it this way. It can be smarter. How? When it is specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, realistic or realizable, time-bound, encouraging, and creates enthusiasm or energy, responsive and relevant to the time. I added to the two because this is what my observation is. Every time I facilitate a planning session, a group lives happy, another group lives sad because their target is so big they cannot reach it and all that. As much as possible, when we leave the planning, we are all excited. Okay, so that is the plan. Now, let me proceed to development planning. Hold on to your questions. I'll answer that later. What is the development plan? Practically, what we discuss is what it is. Details major concern within the strategy with targets and broad or general outline of the sets of action, not the action plan. Broad or general action to be performed within a time frame, usually now in years. The time frame that we're talking about is as short as 1 year, but here it's more than 1 year. Why development? Because you are developing the business of the program within a period of years. Okay, now years, I should say. Now, this is an illustrative example. I don't want to go into the details, so let me show you how it should look as you are presenting it. Number one, the name of the institution and address. Of course, we know that. Number two, this is very important. Mission and vision statement. Now you may ask, which one should come first, the vision or the mission? The vision. Okay, and the vision are all interchangeable. But in the illustration I'm showing you, from where I lifted it from a plan that I saw, they put the mission ahead of the vision, but the two are always together. Okay? Next, now past performance. Since there are 3 years, what did you do in 2020, the COVID time, 2021, 2022? And your targets are in numbers or in amounts, right? So much kilo, so much number, so many, so all that. Then what is your accomplishment? They can be quantified or qualified or just the rate. 20% of the target, 30% of the target, because the target is there already, right? At the first column. The third column now is what made you achieve and not achieve your target. That's why that process of going through the analysis of the enabling and disabling factors is very important. And because you did not achieve the target granting in 2020, what is your follow-up action you described in 2021 and more so in the current year? Okay, so that is only letter C, past performance. And this one is what we discussed already, which is very familiar to you now, right? Okay, so you know that very well. I will not delve on that for a long time. Then the major strategies and concerns. How is this done? It is done in this manner. On the left side is the strategy. On the right side is major concerns, like active marketing and public relations. So you take a look at the marketing and clientele development and the gossip generation. This is a bank, by the way. Then effective governance is the strategy, and then the major concerns, operating policies, systems and procedures, lending services, and financial viability. Okay, so that is about strategies and major concerns. And now here is the development plan summary. Take a look now that at the start is the strategy, active marketing and public relations. And then the major concerns are marketing, clients development, and deposit generation. The target now, this is the first time we saw it, is 100 new accounts. But about deposit generation, 25 million deposit increase in 3 years. That's the development period. Action required is just an outline. Information campaign in all barangays. We saw that in the specific step by step. And then above, plus clients call to reach number 2. Now, why do you have stars? Because there are some ways of doing it. Others put check, other put circles, other put an emoji. But what I put is a star. That means this is to be done in year 1, this is to be done in year 2, this is to be done in year 3. It simply means this is continuing. Don't put the word continuing. Put a symbol to show that it's being done. And then the deposit generation, take note that in year 1, they will have 6 million, year 2, they have 8 million, and then in year 3, they have 11 million. By so doing, they are going to reach 25 billion in 3 years. That is only one strategy under 2 KPIs. How many strategies will there be? So therefore, what does it say? All other strategies will follow the same presentation format, and you already have what you call as a development plan because it covers years. So my friends, my brothers and sisters, our guests, I would like to give honor to God for the time you've given me. Thank you very much, and I will now stop sharing. Thank you.
Thank